This is He Knows Everything, bringing you that heat and far. We keeping a foot on the what? On the Knicks. We keeping a foot on the what? On the Knicks. And like the Tibetan master that I am, I'm applying what? On immediate pressure. Because pressure does what? He bursts his pipes. Let's talk about it, man. Woo! I desperately needed this, though. It's like, Michael Jordan said, dog, that log on the fire, dog. I desperately needed this. Errol Spence. That motherfucker read my brain, dog. I got tired of lashing these motherfuckers up, dog. See, people gotta understand, keep the foot on the neck is a relative term. It has to keep the foot on somebody's neck. Now, guess what? You guys get to get a break. Because now I get to keep the foot on Manny Pacquiao's rabbit-ass neck. So this is the introduction of a 200-part series. That's right, I said it, 200 parts. He Knows Everything said this in late 2019. If a lot of people didn't catch it, can't help you to catch it, dog. 200-part series, dog. First episode up. Manny Pacquiao. Aarpretirementpacman style. The tides have turned. Boy, have the tides have turned. Listen, y'all. Errol Spence is basically a Sun Tzu, aka Art of War. A 7 steps ahead of the game. A 48 laws of power on that ass. What I like about Errol Spence is he didn't do what Terrence Bud Crawford did. See, Terrence Bud Crawford is a chihuahua barking behind the damn fence. He basically let his hands out. In the 48 laws of power, it says emphatically, unquestionably, and without fail, that you're not supposed to let the right hand know what the left hand is doing. Now, the 48 laws of power stole that from the Bible. Your right hand's not supposed to know what your left hand is doing. Errol Spence mastered that art. Behind the scenes, they were probably working this Manny Pacquiao fight for a very long time, and they snatched that motherfucker right up under Terrence Bud Crawford, just like Deontay Wilder did with Anthony Joshua. This series has made He Knows Everything so happy to the point where everybody that was getting choked the fuck out, gassed the fuck out, passed the fuck out, croaked the fuck out, and via keep the foot on the what? On the Knicks. And keep the foot on the what? On the Knicks. And like the Tibetan master that I am, I'm applying what? Unlimited pressure. Because pressure does what? He bursts his pipes. He Knows Everything, don't have to say nothing to them no more. Because see, what you guys have to understand in this cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat truth-teller fashion, it's peacetime for you motherfuckers. So y'all need to be happy. Because now all the attention need to be on this 200-part series. It takes a lot of creativity. It takes a lot of ingenuity. It takes all of He Knows Everything's attention and effort to do these damn series. And Errol Spence motivated me. See, this is what I wanted. I wanted Spence to get back on his shit so I could be motivated. That means Blu-ray too. It's peace with your ass too, brother. Because you helping Errol Spence. You not being a destruction. You being a help. So because of that, because you being a helper, then He Knows Everything's going to get off your ass too. Listen, man. Errol Spence is about to plow through Manny Pacquiao. He's about to bulldoze Manny Pacquiao. He's about to steamroll through Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao is getting a proper Aarpretirementpacman style. And He Knows Everything wants to salute Manny Pacquiao because Manny Pacquiao will be sent out in a perfect retirement package, dog. It's called the Errol Spence stimulus package. See, all of these guys, when He Knows Everything told you guys it was the Spence era, they started laughing. Oh, Canelo, he commands more money. Deontay Wilder. Listen, man. Richard Schaefer said it best. We left the Mayweather era and we ushered into the Spence era, man. This was always the Spence era. When we look at Errol Spence, we see a delineation. We see a distinction. We see a golfing. We see a separation of a guy that's just in another class when it comes to boxing. Errol Spence is the next era-filled fighter, man. He took the mantle after Floyd Money Mayweather. That's why Richard Schaefer said we left the Mayweather era. Notice he didn't say no Wilder era. Notice he didn't say no Canelo Cinnamon Dust Saul Horchata Alvarez era. He said, and we ushered into the Spence era. This was after the Mikey Garcia fight. That's when the era officially started. The passing of the torch will take place in the Manny Pacquiao fight, but the era started in the Mikey Garcia fight because Errol Spence, like my good brother, the real Marlo TV, basically emphatically said when he was cooking early on his live. And shout outs to that brother, man. That brother has really stepped his game up. I like his intro. I like his background. See, there's people out there in the YouTube streets that he knows everything respects. And when I respect these motherfuckers, I've respected them from day one. I've never said anything bad about them. You would never see He Knows Everything say anything bad about them, formerly known as He Knows the Sport, because these brothers are consistent, man. He Knows Everything tests and tries these brothers' spirits out to know if they are of God, man. And these brothers are consistent. They are real. They are authentic. They are organic. And I appreciate these brothers, man. And the Real Marlo TV made it very clear on his damn live that Errol the True Spence basically outmaneuvered Terrence Bud Crawford. He was right about that. I was listening to Contender Regime Boxing. Another one, dog. Me and this dude, we go even longer than Real Marlo TV. Me and Contender go back, shit, I don't even know how long we go back, but we go back. It's been nothing but love from day one. Always been love, man. I've never said anything negative about Buddy, man, because I just see that this is a real cat. And I saw on his live, he was very ecstatic. His energy basically illuminated my fucking energy. And my energy was already illuminated off of the strength of the news. But as I was listening to him, it's a way that he talks and how he's so strategic and how he says things. It just illuminates to keep the foot on the neck style, man. Because unlimited pressure is back. He Knows Everything told you guys, man. If Manny Pacquiao wants to make money, all roads lead through Spence. I've been saying this stuff to you guys since 2019. So if you wasn't listening, then get the notepads out and get to the damn scribbling, dog. So hear me and hear me fucking well. If you guys recall, He Knows Everything predicted this in late 2019. He said that Errol the True Spence basically was going to fight Manny Pacquiao before he fights the Aarpretirementpacman style of the Chihuahua walking behind the damn fence. It had to be AARP first, because that's the order. You got to retire a legend before you jump into that super fight. But Terrence Bud Crawford then messed around and fucked up. And I'm going to explain why. You had an opportunity to get a 40% fight, and you screwed that up. After this fight, it's a 95-5 fucking split. I'm just being honest with you guys, man. Errol the True Spence said 80-20. It's 95-5. Now, of course, it's not going to be that. Of course, it's ultimately going to be 60-40, right? But Terrence Bud Crawford is going to now have to accept it. There's not going to be no wiggle room around that. There's not going to be no ifs, ands, or buts. But you guys have to understand why Errol the True Spence did this. Errol the True Spence did this for a twofold reason. The first fold was to basically let Manny Pacquiao know that if you want to make money, you got to come see me. Floyd ain't around. The only other person you can make money from is if Floyd comes back and Floyd says he wants to fight you. That's the only motherfucker that can usurp me. But Floyd's not going to fight you because Floyd's too busy making $100 million fighting exhibition fights. Now, if you want to make your proper money, you got a whole village to feed in the fucking Philippines. You got to come see me. All roads lead through Spence. Let me tell you something right now. Errol the True Spence haters, they hot and bothered like grits, dog. Let me tell you something, man. Errol the True Spence got them feeling some type of way, dog. And you know why? Because now they can't say nothing. All of this Canelo cinnamon dust Saul over Hurtado over Alvarez, he's the cash cow in boxing. Well, this fight right here is the biggest fight in boxing. Errol the True Spence is a savage. You guys didn't understand what he just did. He basically out of his own mouth said this is the biggest fight of the year. Now this fight comes a month after Wilder and Fury 3. What I said was so deep and profound. Let me let that marinate in the corpus callosum and in the cerebellum. So hear me fucking well. This fight comes back after a month after Wilder versus Fury 3. This is why He Knows Everything told the boxing community fan base. We in peace mode right now. Not gonna ether and murk. I'm in napalm mode. Right now I'm in series mode. This is why He Knows Everything was trying to tell them in Sun Tzu, aka Art of War. 7 steps ahead of the game, 48 laws of power on that ass. Because you know He Knows Everything. He's a Nostradamus. He sees things happening before it happens. That Errol the True Spence was the face of boxing, not Deontay Wilder. And And I don't have a problem with Deontay Wilder, contrary to what people think. But we're going to call a spade a spade. We're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it a buck. We're going to keep it 1,000. And what is that? That Errol the True Spence runs fucking boxing. Nobody runs boxing like Errol the True Spence, man. Because nobody can have the list of opponents that he can have. Errol the True Spence can fight a Manny Pacquiao, which he's fighting now. He can fight a Terrence Bud Crawford. That's another big super fight. He can fight Canelo Alvarez, another big super fight. Do you see how Errol the True Spence has more options than everybody else? Do you see how he's the Transformers more than meets the eyes? But this is what happened with Manny Pacquiao, and that's why it's a twofold thing here. Manny Pacquiao done ran out of money, and Manny Pacquiao knows that if he wants to make money, he has to fight with Errol the True Spence. And Terrence Bud Crawford now has to bend the proverbial fucking knee. That fight is going to happen because Bud is going to retire too. See, this is what we call 2 retirement packages in one. Woo! Manny Pacquiao is getting his retirement first. It's called the Aarpretirementpacman style. Then Terrence Bud Crawford right after him, the Chihuahua barking behind the damn fence. He's going to get his fucking Chihuahua barking retirement too, man. Both fighters are going to get retired. This is how Errol the True Spence is going to leave 147 and he's going to go to 154. This is why Errol the True Spence told you, I'm going to 154 soon. But the more bigger picture here, this reveals why it makes sense to be with Uncle Al. This reveals why it makes sense to be with PBC and why Al Heyman is the shrewdest man in boxing. Because in that late 2019, when He Knows Everything told you guys that Errol the True Spence was going to fight Manny Pacquiao before Terrence Bud Crawford, this is why he's not surprised that this is happening. The whole boxing world's going crazy. But He Knows Everything told you motherfuckers this shit over 2 years ago. It's because Uncle Al Heyman promised Errol the True Spence. If you guys recall, in mid to late 2019, Errol the True Spence said Uncle Al and Bob Arum met. And when they had the meeting, Errol the True Spence told Uncle Al, this is my lineup. I want Shawn Porter, I want Manny Pacquiao, and then I want Terrence Bud Crawford. Now we sprinkled in a Danny Garcia in between that. Could you think of the last? You're going to have to look at the 4 fights that Errol the True Spence is going to fight. Shawn Porter, Danny Garcia, Manny Pacquiao, and now Terrence Bud Crawford on the back end. Woo! If that's not heavyweight lifting the notion, I don't know what heavyweight lifting is. But in its most cold-hearted, in its most unadulterated, in its most cutthroat truth teller fashion, it's as simple as this, man. Errol the True Spence is the truth. Freddie Roach told you guys this stuff. He Knows Everything told you guys this stuff because there's no lies in his damn fist. Richard Schaefer said we left the Mayweather era and we ushered into the Spence era. You guys have to understand why that happened. Because there is no fighter in boxing as transformational as Errol the True Spence. This guy is a special breed. He's a complete package fighter. He just does it differently than Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather did it from a CompuBox standpoint. Errol the True Spence does it from a ruin you standpoint. He does it from a tactical aggression standpoint. He does it from a technical punching placement standpoint. He does it from a body snatching, work the living on style, the punishment style standpoint. He's a punisher by trade, man. He decides your fate in the ring. He's the judge, the jury, and the executioner. Manny Pacquiao has come to terms with his AARP retirement Pac-Man. I'm glad he came to terms with that. Don't worry, you're going to get boo fucking dosed. Don't worry, you're going to get steam fucking rolled. Don't worry, you're going to get plowed fucking through. But Errol the True Spence got to retire you properly. Because He Knows Everything told you guys, there's 2 ways to become a legend in the sport of boxing. The first way is to retire a fucking legend. The next way is to have quality fights. Here's the caveat. Errol the True Spence is doing both. What I said was so deep and profound. Let me let that marinate in the corpus callosum and in the cerebellum. So hear me fucking well. Errol the True Spence is doing both. He's not only fighting heavyweight lifting, the notion of heavyweight lifting fighters. He's not only doing what he told the Terrence Bud Crawford, the Chihuahua barking behind the damn fence, that he's cleaning up his side of the street. So you need to clean up your rabbit ass side of the street, Bud Light. Too light in the fucking ass. I will straight up stop you. But at the same time, he's about to retire a fucking legend. What's not cold-hearted about that? What's not unadulterated about that? And what's not the cutthroat truth telefashion that's associated with that? When it's all said and done, I'm loving this because what happened is Manny Pacquiao came to terms that Errol the True Spence's stardom is increasing while his stardom is decreasing. So in this instance, Errol the True Spence is the rock star, like he told you guys. He's the big fish, like he told you guys. And he's here to dominate the whole boxing world. What Errol the True Spence did in this Manny Pacquiao fight, he literally saved boxing. Errol the True Spence did what Michael Jordan did. He saved fucking boxing. Because this fight right here is going to be transformational. This fight right here is going to be the deciding factor of what boxing looks like moving forward. It's going to decide the climate of boxing. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat truth telefashion. We giving Manny Pacquiao a salute of the day because Manny Pacquiao came to the conclusion that if you're going to leave boxing, at least leave it in a fashion to where Errol the True Spence retires your ass. And we're going to give Errol the True Spence a double salute because Errol the True Spence right up under all of our sleeves, except he knows his sport, formerly known as, now known as He Knows Everything. And the prediction kick strikes again. And the prediction kick strikes again. Outside of He Knows Everything, he was working up under the sleeves to do the biggest fight of the fucking year. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat truth telefashion. I keeps the foot on the whoop on the digs. I keeps the foot on the whoop on the digs. When it's all said and done, Errol the True Spence is going to retire Manny Pacquiao via AARP retirement Pac-Man style. This is He Knows Everything. Check it out.